This episode was suggested by Savage Bart and Skylar T. Thank you. Another day, another Derby profile. Today's episode is on Mystik Dan. Let's go! First up, the stats. 6 starts, 2 wins, 1 second, 1 third, and earnings of just over $641,000. For major races, his Derby trail began on New Year's Day 2024 with a 5th place finish in the Smarty Jones Stakes, which gave him a absolutely astronomical 1 point. Really setting new records here. Then he got 20 points with a victory in the Southwest Stakes in the mud, and then was 3rd in the Arkansas Derby, getting him another 25 points and a spot in the Kentucky Derby field. For running style, I like to call it paint scraping, because he has won races both very close to the lead and also very far off it. Most know him for his come-from-behind run in the Southwest Stakes, but his career before that was in sprint races where he was no further than 2 lengths from the lead, and, just like with the Southwest, he was stuck to the inside rail. And he even made it work with a devastating maiden victory in similar fashion to the Southwest Stakes, except with less coming from behind stuff. But after he finished 5th twice with this front-running method, he swapped to the come-from-behind strategy that got him the win in the Southwest Stakes, and is 3rd in the Arkansas Derby. So he started out as a front-runner, then became more of a come-from-behind horse, but no matter what, he always tried taking the quickest way home, which is on the inside rail. For strengths, he has won at Churchill Downs, and he has won in the slop, so if it comes up rainy, you might like him. Also, his 2 wins were done by a combined win margin of 15 3/4 lengths. That's pretty darn impressive. And he's improving overall. A lot of his worst performances came during a dry period where he finished 5th twice. And during this dry period, he tried a front-running strategy over a relatively longer distance of 1 mile and 1 1/16 miles. And it didn't work out. But when he swapped his strategy to be more of a come-from-behind horse, he has proven a lot better at slightly longer distances. But that's when the weaknesses come in. Because I don't think he can handle the distance. For one, being sired by a natural-born sprinter in Golden Sense who did try the Kentucky Derby after a win in the Santa Anita Derby, and ran poorly, to say the least, and became more famous as a miler and a sprinter. I think that could really be Mystik Dan's future. I could see him running in the King's Bishop, the Woody Stevens Stakes, the Dwyer, stuff like that. I don't think 1 1/4 miles is what he really desires. He has a lot of early speed that's very appropriate for sprint racing. Even his come-from-behind runs seem more sprint-like than necessarily a horse who is saving all of his energy for a big burst in the Kentucky Derby. Also, despite improving with his runs in 2 turns with his new come-from-behind strategy, he's generally inconsistent. Because after a easy win in the Southwest Stakes, when things didn't necessarily go his way in the Arkansas Derby, he ran a very distant 3rd place finish. Yeah, it was a decent 3rd in a Grade 1, but he was not anywhere near Muth or Just Steel. It was a pretty distant defeat. And his victory in the Southwest Stakes came under perfect conditions. And when things didn't necessarily go his way, like in the Arkansas Derby, because he was forced to go to the outside and lose ground, he didn't really run in a straight line. He zigzagged almost, and just didn't finish very strong, especially in comparison to the way he finishes when he wins. He has some huge victories, just like Fierceness, in terms of win margins, and then he just throws some clunkers. Except he doesn't have the big victories that Fierceness has to make him a major betting option. I'd say overall, Mystik Dan is a talented horse, but I just don't think he'll handle the distance, and I don't think he's consistent enough to really be counted on. So for all of that, I'm going to be giving him a C+ grade. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Derby Profile, and comment down which horses you want me to cover in future episodes, and I will see you guys next time.